Hey everybody, welcome to Home with the Halsteads and welcome to my kitchen. Today Doug and I are going to have a veggie plate for dinner and I'm going to tell you what we're going to cook and we'll do it together. We are going to have steamed squash. Now that's mainly what I'm going to be demonstrating today, but I'll show you the other foods as well. But we'll talk about the squash once we get started preparing them. I'm going to make some more potato salad. I did that recently for you, so you know how to do that. I'm going to slice some tomatoes and I'm going to cook some freshly frozen butter beans that I had in my freezer. And that's going to be our dinner. So let's get busy and get it started. Okay, I'm ready to get this vegetable plate dinner started, but I wanted to take just a second this morning and I wanted to explain something to you. Several of you have mentioned, or one or two of you have mentioned or asked, why do you use a TV tray to do your demonstrations on? Or why do you use that cloth? Why don't you just use your countertop? Well, I have a nice island in the middle of my kitchen, and that's where I do most of my demonstrations. And I have lights over my island, and it creates a glare on the granite. So that's one reason why I use a cloth underneath my demonstration or underneath the items that I'm using in the demonstration. And also it helps to cut down on noise. If you have pots and pans or knives or spoons or forks or whatever like that, and you drop it or put it on the granite top, then it makes a loud noise. And personally, I think it makes it more colorful and helps the ingredients to stand out more. So that's kind of how I have my setup for my demonstrations. So now let's talk about the squash. I'm going to be steaming my squash today. Now we love squash any way you prepare them, any way you cook them, and there are so many ways to do it. And probably one of my favorite ways is just to wash and cut up the squash, throw them in a skillet, put some onions in there, put a little oil or bacon grease, and stew them down. That's how my mama cooked them, and I do love them that way. But I also love to steam squash, and I know a lot of young people love steamed squash. They're healthy, and today I'm going to be using this pan that I have here, a saucepan, boiler, whatever you want to call it, and I'm going to fill it about half full of water. And then mine has a little basket, and so I'm going to put the squash down in here, and then I'll set the basket down on top of the boiler, and I have a lid that goes with it, and it has a little thing here that you can open and that you can close and control the amount of steam that you want. So today Doug and I are going to be enjoying some yellow squash and some zucchini squash. Now squash and I want you to look at this one. I started to say squash or summer squash and winter squash, but I want you to look at this one. It looks a little different, and the reason that it looks a little different is that it had some little brown spots on it, and I just took a little potato peeler that I had. It's an antique. You've seen it before too. And I just scraped those after I washed the squash. I just scraped those little brown spots off. So, and you'd be surprised at what a good amount just for squash is going to make. So I'm just going to cut these up real quickly. And I know some of you are going to say, well, we know how to cut up squash. Well, I know that you do, but this gives us a wonderful time to visit together and to talk about different things. It's springtime, the flowers are blooming, the birds are chirping, and it's just a wonderful time of the year. And Doug and I, we are not staying inside. I can guarantee you that. We are outside enjoying the beauty of this earth and the beautiful flowers and the bees and this warm weather. Now, the pollen, not so much. In fact, I swept off my front porch yesterday, and it was covered. It was just covered in pollen. And y'all remember those masks that we had to wear during COVID? Well, I pulled out one of those masks and I put it on because I felt like that as I swept my porch, that I was just going to be saturated and inhaling all of that pollen, and that I did not want to do. So I have just finished cutting up our squash, and I've mixed them. We love it mixed. We love both of it. So just going to kind of mix these around, and now I'm going to start my water boiling, get it hot, put this on top, and put the lid on it, and then I'll start working on my other dishes. I'll put the butter beans on. I'm just going to put them in a pot, put some water in them, put some bacon on top, let them come to a boil, and I boil mine for about 2 hours. That's just what my mama did, and that's what I do too. If I'm cooking peas or butter beans, I cook them a long time so that they're really tender and delicious. And then I'll go ahead and start our potatoes and make some good potato salad. And then when it all gets done, we'll be ready to have a delicious vegetable plate. Okay, let's check on everything. We'll start with our butter beans. Look at that. Those are looking delicious. Look at that. I can taste those now. Those have a little ways to go. And then our potatoes. I've got our potatoes with our eggs in it to make my potato salad. And then we'll swing around here and look at our squash. Let me put this lid down. Don't those look good? These are real tender. I cooked them or steamed them for about 18 minutes. You don't want them to come all to pieces, but you just want them to get tender. So I'm going to put some salt and pepper and some butter on top of those. You could put some Parmesan cheese if you wanted to, but I'm just going with butter, salt, and pepper today. So I'll see you back in a little bit. So here we have it, one delicious vegetable plate, fresh butter beans, fresh steamed squash, fresh sliced tomatoes, and potato salad. And I could have put a little paprika on top of that to give it some color. So I hope you'll try a vegetable plate soon. I hope you'll get out and enjoy this beautiful weather too. That's it, friends. That's all I have for you today. Just one vegetable plate. I hope you have a blessed day, and I'll see you again really, really soon.